I think my story is just a specific example of some of the issues that a lot of people have brought up today. I live in Columbia Heights. I work near Farragut Square, and I bike back and forth to work most days. On the evening of October 21st, I was biking up New Hampshire Avenue, northwest, going north in a bike lane on my way home, and while going through an intersection, I was struck by a taxi cab that had been coming the opposite direction on New Hampshire Avenue towards me and had taken a left, which brought him through the intersection and struck me on my left side as I was proceeding through the intersection. I was thrown to the ground, and the next thing I remember is lying on my back in the middle of the road, a crowd of people standing around me asking me if I was all right. One of them called an ambulance, and it came very quickly. I was loaded onto a stretcher with my head and my neck immobilized and taken to GW Hospital. I spent about an hour and a half in the ER, and then I was discharged. I was badly shaken up, but unlike a lot of the stories I heard today, I was very lucky to escape without any real serious injury. I took a taxi home and immediately called the police because at that point I had not seen or spoken to any police. And I was trying to find out where my bike was, but I was also trying to make a report or contribute to the report. At first on the phone, the officer who answered told me that they had no report of an accident at the intersection that I was hit at, and so I was surprised and said, well, I guess I need to make a report about this then. And I said, why don't I go down to the scene of the accident, A, to see if my bike is still there, and B, because it would be easier to explain what happened. I thought it was a pretty black and white case. And I was told an officer would meet me there. So I went down to the scene and waited for about 45 minutes, and nobody showed up. Called the police back a couple times. They said, somebody's coming, somebody's coming. Eventually they called me back, said, well, actually, we do have your bike. It's here at the station, and a report has just been filed about what happened. I was glad to hear that, except that still nobody had spoken to me about it. And I said, well, do you want my input at all in this? He said, well, it's too late. It's been filed. You can pick it up in several days. I said, okay. So I didn't think there was much else I could do. I called back every couple days, and after about a week, I was still told the report had not been approved. A sympathetic officer on the phone said, well, you should just talk to a sergeant, see what's going on. So I did, and sergeant, while I waited on the phone, went in, read the report in a couple minutes, and clicked a button, said, okay, it's approved now, you can come pick it up. So I'm glad I kind of was persistent in talking to that sergeant, otherwise I don't know how long it would have sat there on somebody's desk. I went in and picked up the report that evening, and to my surprise, I discovered that the report was completely erroneous. Despite a large number of people being at the scene, the report said there were no witnesses. The report also said that I had run a red light, and that's what brought me into the path of the taxi who was coming down 17th Street, not New Hampshire, according to the taxi driver, which was false.
I'm a little bit concerned you're going to run out of time, so you need to be judicious in what you want to.
Thank you very much for the reminder. Yeah. Anyway, I was given a $150 ticket for running that red light. All I conclude, this is the whole point of the story, really, is that the officer had spoken to only one person, and that is the driver of the vehicle that struck me. That was the extent of her investigation. She never came to the hospital. She never came to my house. I spent 3 months trying to get in touch with somebody in the police department to amend the report. I tried to find witnesses. I put up flyers around the scene, and unfortunately was not able to find anyone. But basically, again, I think what the story shows is that the police, again, I'm somebody who was transported away from the scene in an ambulance because I was hit by a car, and then they never followed up with me to find out what happened. They, again, talked to no witnesses. They only talked to, as far as I can tell, the driver of the vehicle. I did, of course, appeal the ticket. Luckily, it was dismissed because the officer did not show up to the hearing. But I had all the bills from my health insurance and my bike, and I had to cover those, at least what my insurance wouldn't cover, because of the erroneous police report that my insurance, couldn't get the driver's insurance to pay for it, and that's what should have happened. I guess in the end, what I'm deeply disappointed about is the lack of real investigation by the officer, who never spoke to me in any meaningful fashion. The lack of a timely response. In my written testimony, you can see all the timeline of all the follow-up contacts I tried to make to the police, and wasn't able to get any response. And then the lack of will, and once I did finally make contact by anyone to actually do anything about that. So, thanks.